Hi everybody, it's day 3 of this retreat planning challenge. I've just realised there's reflections in my glasses, but really sorry if I take them off, I can't see. So day 3 is all about budgeting and thinking about those things that you need to include so that everything you've got in your itinerary is covered and included and you don't need to worry about money when you're away. It's all about working out what sort of profit you'd like to make per person as well. So a cost that sits comfortably with you and that is targeted right at your clients. So let me talk about some of the things that you should include in a budget. First of all is transport. If you're providing transport to the retreat, whether it be airfares, whether it be coaches, trains, blah, 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 whatever, you need to include that. You need to include accommodation. You need to have a price for both single rooms and share rooms. And you need to know this so that if someone says to you, oh, I really want to come, what's the price if I want a single room? You can answer straight away, not kind of say like I used to, oh, you know, it'll probably be about an extra $300. No, straight off the top of your head what it's going to cost. You also need to include food. Now, what meals are you including? And you will have worked that out when you're working out your itinerary. You know, maybe try to book somewhere that includes breakfast, or if you're staying in an Airbnb place or something like that, something that's, you know, you can cook yourself and you can have breakfast there ready. Anyway, I divert. So with meals, work out what meals you're including, what's the budget per meal. You know, are you going to say to everybody, okay, you've got £20 or $30 per meal, and that's what you've got to stick to. Anything else after that, just chuck in a bit of extra money. I usually don't include the meals in the drinks in my budget, and people just then work out what they're having. You need to include any costs that need to be covered from your workshop. So if you need to do photocopying, or you've got handouts, or you've got things that they're going to get during their workshops, then you need to work out how much that is per person. You need to work out any extras, like are you going to give them a massage or some sort of treatments, or are you going to go sightseeing and say getting into somewhere costs $10, you need to include that in. If you're giving them a spa voucher, maybe it's worth $100 or $20 if you're in Bali, you know, those sorts of things. You need to include the cost of any guest speakers. So recently I had a burlesque dance lesson at a weekend retreat, and that worked out to $15 per person. So I included that in their budget. I include welcome packs. Everyone likes a gift, right? And they get to your retreat, or before they go, they get a package in the mail. I'm about to send out some packages to my Europe trip, which is happening in July, which has got some toiletry holders, you know, purses, things. It's got a journal and some nice little things that they can pack to bring along. Now, the reason I'm sending them out to them and giving them to them is I don't want to be lugging them in my luggage. So think about those sorts of things. If I do a retreat to Bali, I usually give them a journal, a sarong, a book called Bali Soul Journals, which is all about Bali and its traditions. And I include some nice little touches in those. Because as I was saying a moment ago, everybody loves a gift. Everybody loves getting somewhere and getting something, or opening the mail and finding something unexpected. I always include in my budgets some money, so say $50, to cover a little bit of my business insurance, because you need public liability and professional indemnity to run retreats, and we'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow, actually a lot more tomorrow. And also for advertising. So if you're going to boost a post on Facebook advertising your retreat, or do a Facebook ad, or print some flyers, that sort of thing, then you need to put a little bit of money aside for that. I also put aside some miscellaneous money. So let's say $50 a person, or £30, or, you know, whatever amount that suits the cost of your retreat. So that money is for things like, say you go down to the shops and you all stop for a coffee or a drink or something, and you can say, it's okay, I'll get those. And people go, wow, that's really awesome. She just randomly paid for our coffees and teas. And even though you've budgeted for it, people see that as extra special. Or you might say at dinner one night, say you're not including drinks like I do, you know, you can say, I'll get the drinks tonight. Or why doesn't everybody order some cake? Those sorts of things. Or if someone needs something from a chemist, you can just go grab it and then they'll say, oh, let me give you money. You go, no, it's okay. People remember that sort of stuff. They remember those added extra things that they've got that they weren't expecting. Now, when you budget your time there and your expenses, work out the same like you do for your participants, your travel, your accommodation. Make sure you get a single room. You're going to be working for the time you're on the retreat. Love to say it's a holiday, drinking cocktails in the pool, but it's not. You're at work. You're on the top of your game, so you need to get a single room. So you can have that time out so that you can feel rejuvenated and refreshed each morning, because then you're on call again. You need to include your travel. So even if you're driving to a retreat and say your fuel is $25, you need to include that because you're at work. So everything you need, everything that will cover your expenses while you're there is what you need to budget for. Probably can't put in your spending money, even though it would be really good in some places, probably can't quite justify that. So then what you do, so let me give an example. So say, and this is a really low cost retreat, so say the people coming, their cost to pay for everything is going to be $1,000 and you've added up yours and everything's going to be $2,000. Your minimum people, you've divided it by your minimum people, so that's 10, say it's 10. So 2,000 divided by 10 equals 200 each. Gosh, I hope that's right. So you've got $1,000 for people's costs. $2,000 is covering your costs, so $200 because you've divided it by your minimum number. And then think about what profit you want to make. What is it that you feel happy with walking away with? I talk to people who go, I just want my costs covered. I just want to do this retreat. And that's all good and well until day 5 when you're exhausted and tired and you're sitting in your room and you're working out the money and you're thinking, I'm exhausted and I'm not even getting paid for this. So think of what sort of money, you know, it could only be $200 a person, but work out an amount that you are happy to take home clear as profit. Of course, if you spend that while you're away, that's your choice. But say, okay, so say it's a retreat to Bali, $1,000 covers accommodation, sightseeing, food, speakers, workshops, everything. Then $200 on top of everybody's $1,000 covers your costs. And then you think, okay, I want to make $1,000 per person profit. I want 10 people, so I know that's $10,000. And I'm going to upsell them to another program that's $2,000 each. So you've got $1,000 plus $200 plus $1,000. So that's $2,200. So that's the cost that you give the participants. Now, while they're at the retreat, they're going to want to be in your space forever. They're going to want to get everything out of you and they're going to want it when they get home. So having a program to upsell them into is fabulous. So you could say, I just wanted to let you all know, I've got this program coming up. This is what it looks like, blah, 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 blah. And it's $2,000 and 5 of them might go straight away. Yet we're in. How do we sign up? Give us the paperwork. So you know straight away that's another $10,000 profit. So out of that retreat, you've made $10,000 in profit from people coming and $10,000 from people signing up for the program. Of course, you've got to do the work, but you know that's what you're going to come out with. So that's why it's important to include everything. So to have your program down pat or your itinerary, so you know everything you need to list that you need to cover so you can pay comfortably for when you're at the retreat. I just want to do a little quick, little tiny bit on booking. So I have a really good philosophy of not booking before I've got numbers. So what I do is I get on booking.com and I find a place that's right for what I need. I make the booking, and it's always a pay when you stay booking. And I then, say I think, okay, I want 20 people, I want them all in their own rooms, so I'll book 21 rooms. So 20 rooms for clients and 1 room for me. And then I can alter that and change that. Another thing I do is I get on Airbnb and I find, say, okay, Port Douglas. I've got 4 houses that I can use when I have my retreat there. So I know that when it comes to booking, of course I've got a first preference, second, third and fourth, but I know as soon as I get my minimum numbers, then I can book, because I've covered the cost of that booking in those minimum numbers. If you want more information about budgeting, I have got more information, and I can send you to my budgeting module in my course, because it goes in a lot more depth and it goes into the really nitty-gritty details of how to work out your budget so you do make a profit. I don't want anyone to lose money. I don't want anyone to make bookings where they do lose money because they've had to change or cancel or transfer. That devastates me when I hear that, because there is smarter ways around it. I hear people saying, I haven't got $10,000 to set up a retreat, and what if I don't get anyone? You don't need $10,000. You can set it up with very, very, very little cash outlay. So if you've got any questions about budgeting, please put them on the Retreat Mastermind page. Please use the hashtag 5-day retreat challenge. And this is a huge conversation about budgeting, and I have it all the time. And I love that people can create retreats without outlaying all this money, without paying, $3,000 to get someone to set up a website. If I can set up a website, I'm so tech unsavvy. If I can set one up using a platform like Wix, then you can too. You can run a retreat, you can set it up, you can get it organised with very little outlay. So have a great day. Tomorrow we're going to talk about legalities, which is really serious. It's a really serious topic that a lot of people miss, and they go on retreats and don't have insurance. When you don't have insurance, bad things are sure to happen. But for now, I'm loving seeing your retreat dreams come to reality, and I love that I can give you my wisdom and my advice to make that happen. So have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.